right, here we go. Backyard business again, and we're loving every minute of this. And we're just trying to bring people to you and subjects to you, people you can learn from. And Krista Berardelli, you're certainly a mover, I would say. Really, you're chair of our young professionals, and you're like on the move.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes going on here in the Lehigh Valley, and I'm just riding the wave with it. So.
Yeah. And what people don't know, this is you were born in the Scranton area, right?
Yes.
Which I love. I have so many. My daughter went to the University of Scranton, and there's family in the Pittston area. So I respect that you came down here, Kutztown, right? You went to Kutztown.
Yep.
Yeah, as did Brittany, right? And I used to be a trustee at Kutztown, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of, is that bragging a little bit?
No, I love that.
Anyway.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's a chamber line.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know, you end up here and...
Yeah, so I would say that coming from the Scranton area and driving through the Lehigh Valley on 22 to get to Kutztown, it's just a different lifestyle. One that my mom was not very happy about me doing. You know, when I was at the airport interning and I was still at Kutztown, she was like, you're driving 30 minutes 40 minutes to and from a job, because in Scranton everything's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But it really opened my eyes to understand that there's just so much more out there. But I could still have my car here. I can still do the things that I want to do on my time. There's just more that's offered. So
when you had those moments when you needed whatever, you needed family, you needed someone, would you just drive back? Because you're here, you know, you're a young professional here making a start. Was it hard sometimes for you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I love that I can still get home in an hour and 10 minutes. So if I need to, I can be there. But it's also great that I can pull them, you know, from up there down here to the Lehigh Valley. And they come here a lot. My mom's actually coming here this weekend to go to the casino. But yeah, I mean, being a young professional here has its ups and downs in terms of we're that new generation that is coming into the market. So we really have to, you know, put our foot down and be like, hey, I want to try this out. I want to try that out, because you're working with the boomers and they don't really understand why you need to do the things that you need to do, like mental health days, you know, understanding what it is for us that is important, maybe working from home here or there because we're attending an event in the evening. So we're really trying to make a mark. And I think now as we like continue with the different generations, we have, you know, the Generation Z and, you know, all the new generations coming in. Boomers they're starting to get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a boomer, you know. And
I know.
Well, really, we talked about that. And of course, you know, Ellie, Bailey, and Brittany are here. And I think you need to evolve and understand. Does it drive you crazy, I guess, when previous generations are like arms folded? Why, you know, I did it this way. Why don't we keep doing it that way? Yeah.
And, you know, that's one of the reasons why I just recently changed my job, because of the flexibility, understanding that giving me the reins that I know what I'm doing and letting me run with what I think is best, because that's not always the best way, the way that it's been done. Maybe for that generation at that time, that was the best thing, but where we are now, it's different and we have to evolve. Whether you want to be the one as a boomer to do it, that's great. And if not, then let somebody else step in to do so.
Oh yeah, the evolution of exposure relative to like this podcast, you know, used to be, we have a show, we have Business Matters on cable TV, trying to make sure we're in more platforms now, because that's the challenge. You know, people don't have cable as much as they used to, old school stuff. So look, you're a seasoned veteran now. You've been in your job 2 days, so you really know it inside out, I would assume.
Yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. Business development director for Agentis plumbing. So going from a government job at the airport to a retail job at the promenade, now over into, you know, a service-based industry. I'm learning that, you know, this is where I think I'm really going to grow, because you need this in your life. Whether there's a recession, you know, there's still going to be plumbing issues. Yeah. So I've been looking at it from a different angle. You know, people are like, you're going into a plumbing industry? It's not very sexy. But, you know, we have to make it attractive for people to want to call Agentis, for people to want to know who we are, because everybody's going to need it at some point or another. You know, that's a great point, because I have a brand new bath that Agentis did. Last week, we were having sort of an issue with the washing machine. Anyway, they came out and fixed it. So I'm old school in that I know Steve, I know somebody, but there's a new generation that doesn't know
Agentis per se. So your job now is to, because the Lehigh Valley is a big connector. I know that person, I'll use them, and they'll use them forever. But there's a new market out there, and I guess that's your challenge, to expose that new market to, it's one thing if you're in a high-end retail or something, but you're in the plumbing business, And you look the part, by the way. I would guess right away that plumbing is your lane. Yeah.
But that was another thing, people were going to the promenade, having a great experience. People are flying out of the airport, going to a new destination. And I'm like, do I really want to go into the plumbing industry where people are probably calling when they're not having the best experience?
Yeah.
But that's where we need people to have us top of mind, that, they're not just Googling somebody random and having that person come out, charging their trip fees and things like that. We want to be the company that people are thinking about when they are in a time of need, but that they're aware that we're there.
So again, Krista, not generationally, your dad wasn't whatever, but I love the name by Krista Berardelli. That's a great name.
Yeah.
So how, for someone that's watching, young professionals, what were who opened doors for you? How did that, because again, you didn't have, some people have, again, second generation, I know my dad was there, my mom was a teacher here. So anyway, who opened doors for you?
Yeah, so oddly enough, I just got a message on LinkedIn yesterday from a girl that I was working with when I was at the Promenade. She was doing marketing for Bar Louie restaurant.
Sure.
And she asked me, she's like, how did you go from the retail to now, a service-based business? Who reached out to you?
But equally as important, you're not to, but your income has risen too. These aren't lateral moves. You're making moves for a purpose. So back to my question, who got you there?
So I actually was trying to sell our patio sponsorship to Agentis Plumbing. I've seen their billboards. I've seen, their branding all around the Lehigh Valley. And so I thought, this is where families come. We have our concert series there. We have our fitness classes there. We have our Toddler Tuesdays there. All these people that have homes, maybe work for businesses. I'm like, this could be a great service-based advertisement. And so talked to Nate Agentis, the CEO, and, his son, Steve is his son. Nate now took over. And he was like, yeah, I'm interested in this. Let's talk about it. Let's help me understand this a little bit more. Turned into a job interview, and I ended up getting the job. So working in my current position, trying to bring in dollars, part of my current position at the Promenade, opened up a new door for me. I wasn't seeking it. It came to me.
Do you know is that yet to learn? Obviously a lot to learn, but what is when people ask me, where should I put my dollars, my advertising dollars? It's it used to be 100 years ago, yellow pages, boom, you got a million calls. Now is it radio? Is it TV? Is it social media? There's so many avenues for exposure.
We were actually just talking about this yesterday from the Agentis side. They did a campaign a couple years ago during Christmas time. If you filled out a survey, you got a free plunger. Showed up on your door with a little bow on it. Which I need
a plunger. Can you hook me up?
We'll get you a plunger.
Thank you.
We'll get you a couple of them. Let me know how many bathrooms you got. But what I was saying is, now there's all of these new homeowners. People are dying to get homes. I'm like, we should be doing door hangers, letting people know, hey, you just bought this home. If you have an issue, here we are. We're here to help. Kind of like that Chinese, menu you would put in the drawer. I want you to put an Agentis, flyer in there as well. But then also, digitally and things that people can interact with. At the Promenade, you're at that patio, you're sitting there with your kids, you're taking it all in. And if you're playing cornhole that's branded with Agentis, I think people are going to remember that versus maybe driving down, 22 when they're stuck in traffic and they're sitting there on their phone when they shouldn't be, versus looking at a billboard because they're driving by.
But I love Tony Chaffee and Adams Outdoor.
I love Tony Chaffee. I love Tony Chaffee as well. But there's just a different way of branding. And don't get me wrong, when we were at the Promenade, we did that type of branding as well. I think you have to layer it for sure. All
different stuff. You didn't answer my question. Who just brought, if it's not even a name, but who lifts you up? Who did, how did it happen? Or,
it definitely just goes back to my mom. She is a microbiologist. She's not even in the business world. But if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I am. Called her yesterday about figuring out my benefits, now that I'm starting this new job. She was thrilled for me, to say the least, when I told her that I was going to be changing positions, because she knew how much I loved the Promenade and how much it did for me. But now she's like, it's time to put you first.
So I want people to learn, if I can. That's a good point. I think the answer to the question, I'm going to finally answer, you lifted you up. There isn't really one. You're not bragging saying that, but it sounds to me that you just tenaciously lifted yourself up.
Yeah. And I think the people around me that believed in me, because as, a young generation, people look at you like you don't bring it all. You just want to hit the shortcuts. Did
you hear Ellie drop that Yeti, by the way? I heard that, yeah.
But I was trying to make
I know, sorry, you're on a good point. It's not my fault, Ellie.
But I think people, they just look at our generation like we don't have what it takes. And I think I'm here to show that we do. You just have to play your cards right, and you need to believe in people.
But I'm sure you've had days where you thought, oh my God, this is tough. This is a tough day.
I definitely need mental health days for sure.
Yeah. But what does that mean? What is a mental health for you?
That means that I'm not lying about a reason why I'm sick. That means that I'm truly I'm exhausted. Give me a break. Yeah. Let me just reset. And you're going to get a better version of me the next day.
Sure. How do you get it? What do you do, though? What is a mental health?
Honestly, just stay home and not talk to people. As extroverted as I am, I need to get it all out. But when I'm turned off, I'm turned off.
Yeah.
It's like the radio. There's no turning me down.
Yeah.
I'm just on or I'm off.
I'm with you. I go to Florida. People say, do you have friends there? Not really. Do you have favorite restaurants? Not really. And Wendy lived in Florida, so I go by myself, and I just do zero. I don't know what I do. Ride my bike. I'm busy doing nothing.
Told me. You just kind of hang out at home, and that's your time to truly reset.
Why was the Young Professionals? And I thank you for that. You were the chair of Young Professionals. How many years?
7 years.
Yeah, and Brittany said you did. She liked you. She thought you did a job. Do you like Brittany?
I love Brittany. Yeah. And I saw AJ with the Hispanic Chamber just got nominated for a 3rd year. I'm like, maybe YPC needs to change their bylaws.
But why was that so important to you?
Because I was able to meet people that were, movers and shakers in the Lehigh Valley, ready to put their feet down, not just at a bar, that we're all drinking, we're having a good time, but I had true conversations with people, meaningful things, not talking about the Kardashians, not talking about what they're wearing to the next event, but actually talking about what they're doing here in the Lehigh Valley to make it a better place.
Wow. Okay. So I like getting into this deeper. So where do you get your strength from? Your mom? Your religion? Faith important or not?
No, there's a lot of things that are important. And I will say that my career, it's kind of like I have 3 cups. You have your family cup, my friends for sure, because I do need that social aspect.
So you're a big connector with friends.
Big connector with friends. I just had two girls from the YPC board over last night. Didn't have cable, right? We're watching The Bachelorette. So, I need that time with my friends as well to disconnect.
Okay.
But my family, my friends, and my career. I'm so career focused right now. I'm 28, not ready for a family just yet. So people will say that's not your traditional, thing. You should be married, have your kids, blah, blah, blah. I'm focused on me right now, and I think that's okay.
Yeah. Sounds like that you're open to that, though, at some point. Maybe that's somewhere in the future.
There will be some kiddos eventually running around. But when I'm ready to be able to devote my time to them, I'm still focused a little bit on me. I want to get myself steady with where I'm at so I could provide the best that I can for them.
So going forward, is this your place? I mean, you're from Scranton, but is this where you think you'll be for the future?
I'm going to be in the Lehigh Valley for a long time.
Yeah, it's your place. Yeah. Well, thank you, Krista. Thank you for all you do. Thanks for being here. I know we missed the date one time. Was that my fault?
No, that was my fault.
Oh, okay, yeah. But anyway, all kidding aside, I know you've got a lot of plates in the air, and you're starting a new job, and I can tell you're into it. I think they made the right decision, and we're thankful that you came and hung out with us today.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Krista Berardelli go ahead, give them a plug. Give it a Agentis.
Agentis Plumbing. I am the business development director. If you have a home, if you work for a business, give me a call.
There you go. Backyard business. Thanks for watching.